Hi everyone. I just thought I'd do a little video on the controls of the car. Obviously you're going to be asked during your driving test to show some of the controls on the move, so I thought it'd be a good revision tool for those that are practicing this particular part. Obviously there's other controls that we might need to operate that you may not be asked to show specifically, but obviously the weather conditions can change, so you need to know where these things are and how to operate them. So if we start first of all with the wipers, and I've organised a nice wet day for us to practice those. So the wiper stalk is behind the steering wheel on the right hand side, so while you were driving along with your hands on the steering wheel, you should be able to reach it with your fingers to operate the control. So up one, that puts the intermittent wipers on. So at the moment the intermittent wipers set quite fast, so this is the control for how fast the wipers are set. So you can feel around the back. You've also got you can control it, or you can control it by the front. So if I wanted to make the wiper go a little bit slower, then I click this dial down a little bit. So I'm just using it from behind because that's easier for me to find with my hand still pretty much on the wheel. So you'll see that's a nice slow one, and then going up that gets a lot quicker. So if that's not cutting it and it's a really wet day, you've got the option to click it up another one. So up one more, we'll make it a continuous wipe. There we go. And if it's really peeing it down, then you've got one more which is a bit faster. So if I click it up another one, you'll see it goes super duper fast. So I'll just click it down because I don't want to damage my wipers. I'll just turn that on to the minimum because it's just drizzling a little bit. So that's how to switch the front wipers on. So the rear wiper is this tiny little flicker switch at the end. So at the moment it's off. So if I click it up one, you might be able to hear the wiper kick in behind. And if I can, so that's on intermittent. So if I want it on a little bit quicker, click it up to the top and you'll hear it kind of goes non-stop. If you've hit this accidentally when you've been steering, or when you've been switching the wipers on, because it's kind of quite easy to catch your finger on it. So I'm just going to flick it down and switch that off. And I'm going to switch the wipers off. So when it's on horizontal, then we know that the wipers are off. There's also another option if it's just tiny drizzle every now and again, and you don't need it, even the intermittent, slow intermittent's too slow, then one little click down, it's on a bit of a spring, and it just wipes it once, which can be quite handy. Also, if suddenly perhaps a lorry's gone past, kicked up a bit of spray, and it's just chucked it in your face, then a quick downward flick will clear it nice and quickly. So then we've got the requirement to show on the move to how to wash the front windscreen. So that's again on this stalk, so most of the stuff to do with the wiping is all on this side. So pull it towards you, so you can do this nice and easily while still holding the steering wheel. Pull it towards you and hold, and you'll see it washes the front one. And to wash the back one, it's the opposite. So you push it away from you and hold, and it will wash the back one and wipe it a few times. So that's really all the controls for the wipers and washing the front, washing the rear window. So then if we move on to the lights, so they may ask you to show how you would switch the headlights on. Now this car's got automatic lights, and because it's quite a dark day, it's already put the lights on. You can see the little spider, the green spider icon in the bottom right corner, bottom left corner. But if this wasn't on and you had to show them how to switch it on, the dial is down the right hand side, this big one here, and you'll see at the moment it's got a light on the A, which is on automatic. So if that green spider, I call it, isn't on, then you'd rotate the dial once to the left, and that would switch your headlights on. So if you're asked to do this on the move, ideally you want to be keeping your eyes on the road, so just have to steer with your left hand briefly, feel down for that little thing, little dial, turn it left, and then turn it right again to turn it off. And actually you'll see now it's decided it's bright enough, so it's turned the lights off. So I'm just going to turn them on again so that we've got them on, and then we can show you the other lights. So the other lights we've got down here, or controls for the other lights, is the fog lights, which are the two buttons on the left. So the top one will do the front fog lights, and you'll see next to the little spider there's another green light that's come on, so that's the front fogs. And then the bottom button, so if I press that, and then you see on the dashboard we've now got the rear fog lights on, which is sort of like a yellowy orange light. So I'm just going to turn those two off now by pressing the button, and you'll see the lights go off on the dashboard. The other lights we might need during the dark is your main beam, so you can see a little bit better, and that's on your indicator stalk. Some of you might have hit it accidentally, but you can see here, and it kind of shows you that if you push it away from you it switches it on, and pull it towards you it switches it off. So similarly, holding the steering wheel, just find it with your finger, push it away from you, and you'll see the blue light comes on the dashboard, and to turn it off you just pull it towards you and that main beam goes off again. Obviously be really careful not to pull it towards you, because that will just flash the lights and then somebody might think you're giving way. So just be really careful if your headlights are on not to accidentally flash your lights. Just click that button. So that is the lights for you. So the next thing that you might be asked to do is demist the rear window. So all the controls for demisting and the fans and things are down in the middle. And you'll see this one that says rear, and that's the button that would demist the rear window. So you can just switch it on and off. So you could flick your eyes down, have a look for where that button is and press it. Or you might feel that it's safer to keep your eyes on the road, in which case if you feel down for this dial on the left, bring your finger across, you can kind of feel quite hard, slightly protrudes in the middle of these two buttons, and then you can find that one without looking. So that's kind of quite a nice easy one. You may also be asked to demist the front windscreen. So even though this car's got a heated front windscreen, the easiest and quickest way to demist the front windscreen on this car is this dial over here, and you'll see it says max. So what you do is rotate this dial all the way over to the top, give it a little push because it's on a spring, and then all of a sudden it lights up like a Christmas tree and demists all the windows very quickly. So you'll see it's put front and rear on, and the air conditioning will dry the air out a little bit quicker. You will have to turn this off, otherwise you will boil because it gets very hot. So just turn the dial down a bit so that you've not got cold air blasting through. If you can, also if you can turn these three off, because that will save you a little bit of fuel. Certainly the air conditioning requires quite a bit of energy, so turning that off is more fuel efficient. So these three buttons in the middle are to do with where the airflow is coming out of the vents. That one is obviously on the window. That one's keep your toes warm, and this one comes out the middle. So I tend to just have it on all of them in normal driving conditions. But so long as to demist the rear one, you bring it all the way up to the top, let it blow hard for a bit, and then turn it down again so you don't boil. Don't worry too much about the other ones if you're asked to show that on your test. Right, so other thing you might be asked to show is how to use your horn. So the horn in this car is either side of the middle of the steering wheel. It tends not to be that easy if you press it in the middle. So if you're driving along, just take one hand off and just press the, there you go, press the horn in the middle. The other thing is your windows. So you might be asked to show how you'd wind the window down. So this car's got automatic windows. So the left one controls the passenger side window, and the right hand one controls the driver's side. So if I push it down hard, you'll see the window goes all the way down to the bottom. You don't have to press it, and if I pull it up fairly hard, it goes all the way to the top. So if I only want it down a little bit, if I just press it a little more gently and then let go, then it will just come down a little bit. And that's how you control the window up and down. So the other controls that we have, we've got a few more on the steering wheel. A few of you have had a play with the speed limiter. That's obviously controlled by these buttons on the left hand side. So the first one to set is this LIM for limiter. And so if I press this, you'll see on the dashboard underneath the speedo, it comes on. Oh, sorry, it was already, but obviously you pressed it. So if I switch it on, it says lim set mph. So to set it, we push this middle button up one. So you push it up to set it. Because I'm not moving at the moment, it's set it to its minimum that it will cope with, which is 20 miles an hour. So that same button, if I keep pressing it up, you'll see that the speed starts going up. So that'll control your car. It won't let you accelerate beyond the speed that you set it. If you hold the button, it starts going in increments of 5. And same if you hold it going downwards, it goes the other way. So it's the plus and minus, pushing it up and pushing it down will control that speed. And then you can press the cancel button. We'll cancel it. And you can turn it off by pressing the LIM button again. So the controls down here are to do with a sort of radio, or perhaps the sat nav volume, you know, anything that happens to be coming out of the speakers at the time. And then on the other side we've got the controls for the phone. It's got Bluetooth and Android Auto on this car, so that's to control lifting up and putting down. This one's really handy, especially if you've got Android Auto plugged in, so you can navigate to a certain place and it will pop up and take you there. All these buttons are to do with the computer system on board, so I can check things like, you know, how much tyre pressure I've got and stuff like that. Obviously not really to be used on the move ideally, because yeah, it's something that you set before you go. So I tend to have it on the speedo, but I can press this button and it can give me a few more controls and stuff. A few of you I think have pressed it accidentally, so if you press the OK button you'll get back to where you were before. So I think that's probably all the controls you're going to need. Hope this video is useful. If you want videos of anything else, let me know and I'll see if I can stick them on. Oh, actually the only one we did miss was the hazards, which are right in the middle here. So you press that button and then you'll see the hazard lights, indicators popping on. Obviously switch it off. I'll switch them off. All right, take care. That's all for now. Bye.